I wanted to be real, and I wanted to give people the truth of who I am.
Jessica Simpson's new memoir, Open Book, is full of bombshell revelations and very personal stories from her relationships that captivated Hollywood's attention. So today we're taking you through all the highlights. Okay, we all remember Jessica's romance with Nick Lachey. From the moment they were a couple, fans were obsessed with their relationship, and one detail in particular, the fact that Jessica was saving herself for marriage.
I liked him immediately, though, when I met him. I told my mom I wanted to marry him.
She explained in her book that Nick respected her wishes and stayed patient, but America's interest in their physical relationship was a lot to handle. She wrote, quote, "It gave America a storyline to follow, the sexy virgin and the long-suffering but still understanding hot prince. Nick loved the fact that I was strong in my faith, but I would get so frustrated asking God to take the blindfold from his eyes and help him find a spiritual center."
I didn't know to have expectations going into marriage. I just kind of thought it was the fairy tale. You kiss your groom, you say I do, and you live happily ever after, and the shoe always fits.
She went on to explain that after they were married, she felt a pressure to give the press answers about their first time since she'd always been so candid about waiting. She reflected on the experience saying, quote, "I'd built up this anticipation in my mind that the first time I had sex with my husband had to be this transcendent experience where the heavens parted. What I didn't know then is that everyone's first time is awkward, and that is part of it, and that's okay. But at the time, it's tough to understand. I had joined a long line of virgins in my family who said yes to forever for that one experience." Jessica and Nick shared their marriage with the world on their reality show Newlyweds. In her book, Jessica explains that it was important to her to make her marriage look perfect. She said she wanted people to see them as a fairy tale and explained, quote, "I had the Instagram girlfriend syndrome before it was a thing, and I wanted the world to see my husband in the best light because I was hopelessly in love with him."
Will you want to open the door for me?
No.
Oh. At the beginning of our marriage, you were so eager to open the door for me.
It's because at the beginning of our marriage, I got laid.
Their marriage had short-lived success though, and they decided to call it quits just 3 years later. One of the major bombshells from Jessica's memoir is that her and Nick actually slept together months after filing for divorce.
You better be reading my name tag, friend.
I noticed your initials were double D.
How about special, sir?
She also reveals that towards the end of her marriage, she had an emotional affair with her Dukes of Hazzard co-star Johnny Knoxville. She explained that even though nothing ever really happened between them, their emotional affair felt like a bigger betrayal to her marriage. She said, quote, "First off, we were both married, so this wasn't going to get physical, but to me, an emotional affair was worse than a physical one. It's funny, I know, because I had placed such an emphasis on sex by not having it before marriage. After I actually had sex, I understood the emotional part was what mattered. And Johnny and I had that, which seemed far more of a betrayal to my marriage than sex."
There's so many things about ourselves that we do keep private. Even though I am a public figure, I was keeping things to myself.
In an interview with Dr. Oz, Jessica admitted the one thing she would have done differently from her marriage to Nick was not signing a prenup. She said, quote, "I wish I would have signed a prenup, and that's the funny thing is that Nick wanted me to sign a prenup, but I was like so offended." She went on to explain, "I was like, we're going to be together for the rest of our lives. We're saying our vows to God and in front of all of our family and friends. Like, this is never going to end." And we didn't sign a prenup. She also shared that while she and Nick do not have a relationship now, she has nothing but love for her ex and that she would never disrespect his family. A sentiment Nick echoed when asked during his recent visit to Hoda and Jenna if he'd read Jessica's book. He said, quote, "I'll be honest, I obviously haven't read the book, so I don't know what she said or what she revealed there, but certainly happy for her and her life, and I know she is happy for us. There's definitely a mutual respect there. Obviously, it was a long time ago, and we've all moved on." There was one semi-awkward moment in their interview, though, regarding a mystery gift Jessica received after giving birth that she thought was from the Lacheys, but apparently it was not.
I feel bad. I'm sorry. You said somebody sent her. Because now it's like, it wasn't us, but thank you. Whoever sent it from us.
What'd you send her?
I didn't.
No, you can't remember?
No, I didn't. I don't know her address. But thank you, whoever sent it from us.
On that note, let's move on to another one of Jessica's relationships that captivated America, her on-again, off-again time with John Mayer.
Your body's a wonderland. Your body's a wonderland.
Opening up about their relationship in her book, Jessica gets candid about how unhealthy it was. After reflecting on their relationship in therapy, she's come to look at it as an obsession and not a love story. She and John actually met at a Grammys party in 2005 when she was still married to Nick. She began seeing John in 2006, and from her accounts, John came on very strong. She said, quote, "Again and again, he told me that he was obsessed with me sexually and emotionally. The connection was so strong and made me feel seductive, and he spoke about sex and my body in a way that made me feel powerful, at least physically. He studied every inch of my face and body." But from the beginning, Jessica said she felt insecure around him. She found herself questioning frequently if she was smart enough to be dating him, and often turned to other people for advice on how to be with him. Jessica revealed the on and off nature of their relationship came from John's habits of frequently breaking up with her. She shared he often dumped her via email, sometimes expectedly and sometimes out of the blue. She would anticipate the breakups coming when she felt her own light had dimmed. She said, quote, "John loved me when I was shining, and he drew inspiration from that light. When he tapped me dry, he looked at me like I was withholding something from him." After moving on from John, Jessica began dating Tony Romo. 2 years into her relationship with the Cowboys quarterback, John popped up again and wanted to win her back. He had remained close with her family and actually professed his love to Jessica at her parents' house. In her book, Jessica makes it clear that she did not cheat on Tony, but she didn't tell him she'd seen John. On the night before her birthday, Tony saw an email from John on her phone and confronted her about it. When she told him nothing happened, he didn't believe it and ended things with her. This devastated Jessica, and she explained, quote, "I wouldn't be with him because of Tony, and now Tony was gone. I lost my feeling of agency in my life once again and felt like I should just give in and be with John. He had promised forever in my parents' backyard. Who was I to argue?" The final straw for Jessica with John came after an interview he gave to Playboy in 2010. In it, he referred to Jessica as sexual napalm, which horrified her. She actually received an apology email from him, but that didn't cut it. She said, quote, "I didn't accept his apology. I deleted all his contact information from my phone. I was done with this man in a way I never thought was possible. When he reached out to me, I changed my number and changed my email. Done."
I really just feel like I championed my way through a lot of fear and self-doubt. And really, it was like my own words that ended up inspiring me.
Not too long after her final chapter with John did Jessica meet her now husband, Eric Johnson. Jessica describes meeting Eric as, quote, "destiny knocking on her door." They hit it off very quickly, and after 6 months of dating, Eric proposed on their balcony at exactly 11:11 on November 11th, 2010. They got married in July of 2014 and shared 3 kids, Maxwell, Ace, and Birdie. And Jessica recently gushed to Extra about their marriage. Take a look.
All right, your hubby, Eric.
Well, he has taught me how to live my best, most authentic life. With Eric, we connect mind, body, soul. You know, like it's a very spiritual experience. In my thank yous, I call him my sexual shaman.
What a journey. All right, you guys, those are all the bombshell details from Jessica's new book I have to share with you today. Were you shocked by these stories? Are you planning on reading the book? Let us know down in the comments. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and then click right over here for another new video. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. You can follow me on socials at Fiona Zaring, and I'll see you guys next time.